What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Wookiee prototype's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Black Series Zeb from the Rebels show. The last member of the crew, kinda. But either way, I want to shout out Randy. Randy B, that dude goes out there for me, and I appreciate it. That being said, I'm anxious to take a look at this guy. I'm anxious to get him in the shelf with the rest of the team and show that off. But in order to do any of that, we got to start with accessories. So he comes with this kind of signature weapon. A lot of gimmicks to this. You have the effects here at the ends. They can both be taken off so that you don't have to have that on there, which I will probably rock with because I think they're a little goofy. And then it is kind of fully collapsible when you have this here, which can form around to kind of cover down and such, which is kind of a clever way to pull it off, but it's not seamless at the same time, right? So it's a little give and take. It's a metallic flecked gray, and then it has some dry brushing of silver on it, and then the bands are sculpted and painted, and these pieces are just cast in this color. And it is collapsible. The tips here can collapse inside, so you can have it to that, and then the whole thing can collapse further, and you can have it to that. So pretty well done, pretty clever, pretty smart accessory in regards to how they pulled it off. He can hold that just fine with both hands or one. And once you have it collapsed, you can have it tabbed into the back of his back here for storage, which is also pretty sweet. Let's talk about the figure. First of all, I just want to say I love their real-world approach to the animated characters. I know some people get bent out of shape about it. I do not. I love it. Love it a lot. So what we have here is this base color beige, right? And then we have the airbrushed purple. We have the purple paint added on. Then we have the eye paint. That's 2 shades of green plus the pupil. And then we have the beard that's painted 1 shade of gray and then dry brushed with the lighter shade. You don't get much more paint apps than that on a $20 figure. Really, really, really well done. Double ball peg from the head into the neck. As a result, you get down to there, up to there, kind of like the round swivel, not a proper swivel, and a little bit of attitude you can get out of that though. All right, moving on. We have this piece, which is an extra piece that's glued on. That's his collar. It's cast in the light green, and you have the darker green added on, and then the war markings added on, with sculpted scratches in it, as well as the base work, sculpt work. Pretty clean, pretty sharp. Then you have the suit. And I'm just going to talk about the suit El Total. So you have the chest piece, the pelvis piece, the upper hips, and the thighs. And this seems a little cartoony to me. It's a little bit about the plastic choices and how they seem, especially in the pelvis and hips, like they're too glossy, whereas the matte down here looks a little bit better. And it feels like this is prime real estate for a wash, especially on the brown. Also, the yellows don't match. These 2 yellows match. This yellow is independent of that, and that yellow is independent of both. So it's just one of those things. We have the belt, which is an extra piece that's added on. It is decent sculpt work, mind you, with all the wrinkles in the shirt and then the seams between the suit lines, front and back. We have the belt. That is an extra piece added on, and that's, once again, the base shade of green plus the green painted on, the silver, and then the yellow painted on. You have a single ball peg for the swivel, which works fine. You get a little bit of a crunch over, a little bit of a crunch back, and a teapot. You have a disc hinge shoulder. That'll get you out to 90 degrees for the arms. Once again, it's done just like the face with the base, and then the airbrush, and then the purple paint. It looks like airbrush anyway, I should say. And then the green, the base green, and the darker green added on. And this piece is glued on. So no issues there. You get out to 90 degrees, the shoulder goes perfectly inside of the upper collar piece, and you get the swivel around. You have a single hinged elbow with a swivel for the bicep right there. Not the prettiest, but it's how they're doing them these days with that long cut down the forearm. It's just the way they chose to do it. Paint apps are continued through the same way they did in the upper arm, and the armor is continued through the same way as the shoulder. We have a wrist swivel and a hinge up down. Paint apps continued through the same way with the addition of the nails painted on. Same for this side, except we have the extra bit here that's painted on and sharp and clean, and then these bits painted on, the yellow and the silver. Once again, all good. We have 2 holding hands, which you know how I feel about that. I mean, he can hold his staff with 2 hands, but it would have been nice to have the options. So we have T-jointed ball joints for hips. They get you out to there, so not the full range, but more than you'll ever need. Forward and back, kind of the same deal. Thigh swivel, a little tight here. Let's check this one. Tight here as well. We have the lower legs, which I believe is cast in this yellow plastic, and the brown and green is painted on, which is the smart way to do it. However, we've already talked about the matching issue, right? Okay, then we have a double jointed knee. With the knee pad on, it does cover the ugliness of the knee a little bit. Good range though. And you have a paint app on the knee itself, so no issues there. Then we have this bit that's added on, that's painted, and then we have the legs, all of the legs, which are painted the same way as the arms and the face, if you've been following along thus far. All right, so you have a hinge here at this lower part of the leg for like the ankle. You get up to there, which you're never gonna probably need, but you can get, you know, everything kind of goat-esque, which does work. I haven't played too much with it, to be honest, to just check the balance of how it all works, but it is cool how they pulled it off and it still remains relatively seamless. I think you might have some trouble fully utilizing it and keeping him balanced. Like I said, I haven't messed with it too much. I'll try to show you some poses and the final thoughts. This lower leg piece is done the same way. It feels like, I don't know. So the paint here for the detailings of the upper ankle to here, it seems like it should follow through, and it doesn't. It also follows through a bit from the back, so maybe that's why. I don't know. There's something that seems a little strange about that to me. Not the biggest deal in the world, but worth mentioning. You have a swivel. You have an ankle tilt up a little bit. You have an ankle tilt down a good bit. You can see where it sits. And then the rocker is there. And then the feet are painted the same way, and then the toenails are painted. And there's a view from the back. So a pretty impressive figure overall with just a couple wonky things sitting in the middle. Size comparison-wise and shelf-wise, there he is in my Rebel shelf. And no complaints. Really sharp-looking shelf. Complete. You know. Very satisfying. Unlike this shelf, which still doesn't have a Bodhi, or any of Saul's crew, this shelf. Satisfying. Well done. Final thoughts wise in regards to the negatives, it is a difficult and challenging figure to balance when you're really trying to utilize all of the leg articulation to kind of pull off the look. The deco on the mid body is nowhere near as detailed on the deco of the outer kind of ring of the body. It's also nowhere near as consistent with the shades of yellow, or the shades of brown to be fair, but more glaringly the shades of yellow. And then something seems a little incomplete to me about the paint app on the front of the ankle, but that's a minor gripe. Positives wise though, the sculpt is absolutely beautiful. The tons and tons and tons of sculpt work in the face, the wrinkles in the face, the lips, the eyes, the expression to get it kind of just right. The hair on the face, the sculpt work with the kind of lizard-esque body in the feet, or should I say feet. The sculpt with the scratch work and line work within the armor, the paint, the fading of the purple to the kind of taupe, the dry brushing, the purple kind of scale markings, the 2 layers of green, metallic flecked accessory, weathering on the accessory. Like, they just, I feel like they gave it all they had, and most of it was successful. Some of it wasn't, like with the yellows matching, but the majority of it was. And at the price of this figure, I can't really scorn them all that much. It's a really, really, really well done thing, and one of the most rewarding Black Series figures I've had in a long time. I think mainly because it finishes a shelf, but also because of just how well done and how much passion and love is in this thing. So a strong recommend from me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.